For those of you that don't know me, my name's Dave Mason. I'm a title rep with Grand Canyon Title. More specifically, I was hired for my real estate and technology background. Grand Canyon is moving in the direction of being able to bring value in terms of helping agents with their digital marketing, either helping them get found online, video, which is a huge thing for real estate people right now. I do classes on shooting video, editing, and techniques for getting found online. I'm not going to talk too much about that now, but I've got some really great techniques for helping you get found in the niches that you want to get found for. Oops. I guess I'm still learning how to use those. That's not what I wanted. Anyway, I'm married. I've got a 1-year-old, and I was a realtor. I was at Realty Executives for about 11 years, and after that, I owned a mortgage company. Always been in technology for 25 years. That's kind of how I broke into the business. I built a very simple database back in 1990. There was no go to the title company and get the disc. I used to drive around in my car writing down. I had 7,000 addresses of the properties that I wanted to market to or farm to. And back then the world was flat. And what I mean flat was you were supposed to mail letters. And I was a rebel. I mailed postcards, if you can believe that. Within 2 years of doing my postcard database mailing system, targeted at just the homes I wanted to sell is top 10% of realty execs, and was convinced that technology, for me, that's really what got my real estate career going, because it was going nowhere until I started marketing in that fashion. My invitation really is to also take the information that I'm going to be talking about and look for yourself to create something unique that nobody else is doing. Back in the 1990s, my thing was creating a database and mailing postcards. It doesn't seem that unique right now, but back in the Stone Ages, I might as well have come from Mars. So, I think if anything, the technology now makes it easier to swing out, create, be an innovator. And WordPress is really the foundation to getting found online, and there's some reasons I like WordPress, which I'm going to talk about. The main thing is, and I will admit I used to use these, and the point of this was really that we want to be found in Google, right? So, I want inbound marketing. I want to stop doing outbound marketing. And I'm not saying that may disappear completely. Mailers can be very effective. I've got agents that do well with it, but again, they're targeting very specific niches. So on the menu for today, what do you want to learn today? What is WordPress? Why to use it? We're going to take a look at the WordPress dashboard, which is really where everything happens in terms of how to use it, how you put posts in, how you can put content in, and really kind of the beginnings of getting found online. And we'll look at how the posts and pages in the WordPress menu system works. Talk a little bit about plugins. WordPress plugins just basically gives you additional functionality to your website without having to call a programmer. You can add all kinds of plugins. Can give you contact forms, weather icons, Twitter feeds, different tools for using maybe an IDX system, or putting PDFs in, or putting your social media icons in, or the follow me buttons, share buttons, that kind of thing. Widgets are maybe we'll talk about that on class number 2. What we're not going to do in this class, which I do live, we do a hands-on, but I'll give you guys the passwords to my test site that you can go in and practice with after. And I'm recording all of this so that I don't want you to get focused on trying to write down or remember everything, because you'll see it again. And I have a condensed version of this class on a video as well if you don't want to watch the whole thing from beginning to end. It just hits the main points, so you can just go in and do what you want to do. So first of all, I just want to see if there's any questions, or what people want to learn. Small group today, so you might do a little freestyling and swing out a little bit. So anybody have anything specific? Before we
No,
get
I'm brand spanking new.
who's this?
Susan,
Susan. Okay, great.
I don't know anything about WordPress, so that's what I'm here to learn.
Okay. And again, the basics of this will just to have you give you a sense of what you can do. And if you have any questions after the fact, please feel free to call me. And again, we're going to tape all this, so I don't want anyone stressed out about, am I getting it or am I not getting it? So, all right, so let's move on. I've been using WordPress for about 6 years now. I didn't know anything. I found it very frustrating, confusing. It's actually a lot easier to use now. There's a lot more information available on how to use it. And there's people like me that you can go and talk to that work at a title company that can help you as well. Why people use WordPress? Well, it's easy to use, and you don't have to know code. All right, I'm going to let's see. I might have to mute just because it's getting some background noise. So when it's time for questions, I'll just unmute everyone. All right. So why people like it is it's easy to use and you don't need to know code. In the old days, if you had a website and you wanted to make changes, you probably had to call your developer. The developer is going to charge $50, $85 an hour for you to make those pages. So to add content to your website was very expensive. Those days are over. WordPress has a built-in content manager, which basically means it's very easy to put new content on your website. And as you'll see shortly, it looks a lot like Microsoft Word, what we call the WYSIWYG editor, or the what you see is what you get. And don't worry about that, but when you see it, you go, oh, that looks just like Microsoft Word. It's very highly supported. You can find tons of information in Google, YouTube. There's thousands and thousands of tutorials on YouTube on how to do everything. So if you don't understand something, or what I do first is I go to YouTube, how to blank, whatever it is in WordPress, and I can usually find something that'll help me. WordPress, compared to the old days, is very inexpensive. WordPress is actually, in its purest sense, it's a free application or it's open source. So you can go and get it and use it. It doesn't cost anything. But what you do have to need, you do need to know how to host it and configure it. So I mean, it's there's that area where you may need to find somebody to do that for you. And I definitely know from having done it for many years, I have resources and can give you direction on getting started with that. Plugins, I'll show you that in a little bit. SEO, or search engine optimization. Google loves WordPress. Well, why would I say that? The way WordPress is set up, or Google in general, I know I talk to some people, they think Google is the bad guy. Well, Google actually wants to know what is on your pages. The easier it is for them to know what is on your website page, the more likely you're going to show up in the searches with a high ranking. And it used to be in the old days putting the SEO in, you used to have to know some very complicated code to make that work. And now you don't anymore. It's just simply a matter of just filling out a form. And we'll look at that once we get into the WordPress dashboard. So now I'm going to log in, and I've got a little test site. Oh, there's Steve. Oh, there's Steve's fan. Hey, Steve. All right, so I'm going to log into, I've got a little test site. It's called it's just applyandfly.com. It's really just a basic site. It really doesn't do much other than this is where we practice, with my students. So I'm going to log out just to show you how you log into WordPress. So the main domain of the site is applyandfly.com. So I'm going to go to applyandfly.com/WP, which just stands for WordPress. Oop. And I'm going to log in. and use my login and password. And I will be directed to the dashboard. That's the dashboard. So I'll just go over a couple main points. Most of this stuff you'll never use as a user, but the main things you'll be looking at are posts and pages. Posts are what you'd call the blog portion of the website. That's where you do updates, news, maybe new listings, maybe there's a new loan program you want people to know about, or a new subdivision, something like that. Pages are static, they stay the same. That might be your buyer page or your seller page or your search for homes page. It's going to be in the same place every single time you go to the website. The blog is the only page where when you put new information in, the newest piece of information is going to go on the top. And I'm just showing you the blog page right now. This was a little test post I did at one of my other classes, and when I put the next post in or blog page, it's going to go right on top of this. So I'm going to open up for questions real quick. Any questions?
Now,
right.
if we're going to sign up for the site, is it WordPress.com or WordPress.org?
Oh, to get into this test site?
No. To actually sign up to do it.
Well, there's a variety of ways. You can get a free WordPress website at WordPress.com. So, and I actually invite people, especially if you're just getting started, just to set up a free website and just start playing with it to get used to it.
Okay.
Because you can't break it, and it's really, I think a good experience just to start working with it. There's some downsides to using the free one in terms of being able to move it. You're hosting it with someone else, and if you want to really upgrade it, you have to start paying, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. My experience has been I want to control my whole universe when it comes to online. And there's some exceptions to that when you start getting into social media. Actually, why you want to host your own stuff, your own technology is you don't have to worry about changes. Maybe they make a change you don't like, and then you're kind of stuck. For example, I had a fan page this is my marketing site. If you subscribe to my posts or subscribe by email, you'll get my tips, tutorials, classes. I don't send out things every week on email. So if you want to get my newest material, you just go to it's nuuvidea.com. So what was I saying before? Now I can't remember. I got off track.
So if we want to sign up and pay, do we go to the same thing, WordPress.com?
There's many ways. There's many ways to get a WordPress site. You can, like I said, you can get a WordPress.com set, and I think they're useful for clubs and groups and organizations, maybe kids' sports teams that just need a central place to get information. But and the policies may have changed, but I know. It used to be on the free sites, you weren't really supposed to use them for business. That's why I say go and practice. There's a company called, this again, depending on where your experience level is, if you just want somebody to host a website and you know how to do everything else, there's a company called Pagely, Page.ly. It's a great WordPress host. They don't do support or anything. They just host WordPress websites, but you can go in, look at themes, pick out a site. They do everything. The other avenue is you can hire a company to do the installation for you. Because one of the things, if you haven't done it, you've never done it before, it can be time consuming to get it set up. There's a company called I Found Agent. They do a really good job and have a very, my opinion, very inexpensive setup and very nice looking websites. And they have a very cool IDX application as well. The other route is just hire, a developer, do, a custom template or a modified template. And the price ranges for any of this is anywhere from $0 to $3,500, just depending on how deep you want to swim into the deep end. And that might be something, we can talk about more, after the class, just to, I can help you kind of sort through, what the best pathway might be to do that. And I'd be happy to do that. And it can be confusing because sometimes, a lot of it can look the same. But it's like anything else. There's there's different distinctions, to each type of choice. But I do recommend setting up the free WordPress.com site just to start playing with it and get familiar with how it works.
Okay.
So hopefully I'm clear that may have answered and also not answered your question all at the same time. And I'd like to, we can follow this up also after the class we do.
Okay.
Does that work?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a look at my outline real quick. Just make sure I'm on track. We're logged in. Dashboard. Posts. Okay. Let's do a post.
Posts. Let's do a post.
All right. So a post. Let's do I'm going to go to post.
All right, so
Add new.
go to post. Add new.
Hello, girl.
And this is where I'm going to put my title in. And so this will be, I'll just call this online WordPress class test post. So this is the title that's going to show up. Let's see. Let me just show you where that, just on my own website. So this was a post I did on a little WordPress plugin called Tiny MCE Advanced Tutorial. So it's going to show up at the top right here. That's what the users will see. So this here is effectively what I'm filling out here. That's kind of the headline or the title to the page. Now when I drop down to this, if you look at it, it kind of looks like Microsoft Word. I've got my centering, my bold, my underline, spelling, some other stuff here that I don't see, which we'll cover at a different class. Font sizes, anyway, just like Microsoft Word, and I can type in here what I want the body or the content of my post to be about. But first, I like to put in a picture. WordPress makes that very easy to do. If you see a little camera with a little note, I can it's the Add Media button, so I can add a photo or an MP3 or a sound file. In this case, I'm just going to put a picture in. So I'm going to select something from my hard drive. And let's take a picture of my daughter. I think this is a rather large photo, which is also good for the example. And it actually, I can look at the dimensions of the photo. It's 5184 by 3456 pixels. That's a big photo. My website's only about 960 pixels wide, so this photo is not going to fit. However, WordPress will automatically give me resizing options. And usually I like about a 300 wide picture, and 200, that's actually a good size. So I can actually put this in, and it gives me an alignment options. None will put the picture in wherever my cursor is. Left, it'll go in the upper left. Center, in the center, right will go on the right hand side. I want it on the left, so I'm going to insert this picture in the post. And there's my photo, 300 by 200 pixels wide. So if I click on it, I can also grab a corner and make it a little bit bigger if I want, or make it a little smaller. There's also some editing features. When I click, I can delete it. Oop. Delete it, or even go for more editing options as well. I can change these. I usually don't even go in here, but anyway, there's options. I'm going to put some dummy text in. You'll never use this. I'm just doing this just to save some time. Let's just put, this is what web developers use just to fill space on a website. Empty websites can look kind of funny. And that's some dummy text. So when I say you don't have to know code, if you didn't know code, you would have to be able to write this just to get that picture in.
This worked right on.
So you can see that might save you some time, right?
I started this class.
I just took the mic off. All right. So now, usually, I keep getting some feedback. All right. So now I'm going to put in. So now I'm going to put in a video, and we can pick out anything. Maybe go to YouTube baby video. So we're doing looks like we have a baby video post with the baby picture. Dancing baby on Twitter. Oh, there's the talking twin babies. So if I want to put this on my website, so I'm going to click onto that. I want to look for the little share button down here. And then
I grew up in a socialist country, and
then they just changed all this, but you want to look for the embed button here, and click on embed, and you'll see a little code. What you want to make sure to do, if you've never done this before, it's going to automatically show. It'll be checked. Show suggested videos when the video finishes. I leave everything unchecked. And I also changed the video size. This is going to be too big, 853. This is the width and then the height. So that's going to be too wide. I usually like either 560 or 640 is good. I usually go with 640 for my embeds. All I have to do is copy this code. So I'm going to go Control A, Control C. I'm going to come back to my post, and all I have to do is drop it in the visual editor. Paste. So I'm going to publish it. Well, first let's make a category, because WordPress makes it easy for me to organize my data. Now, one of the things you'll notice if you go to my website is you can sort through my blog category. I've set it up so you can actually sort through my blog categories because I've organized them by category. So, if you want to see all my WordPress tutorials, you can just click on that category. And anyway, it just makes it easy to go through them all. So back to the post. Let's make a new category, very easy. We'll just call it babies. I think it's IES. So we're going to add the new category. And let's publish this. Just going to wait for that to once that stops, I'll know it's updated. And let's refresh my blog page, or the post page area. And we'll see now, this is my newest post. It's on top, and we should see my video right. Oh, no video. What happened? And again, there's if you remember before, this was on top, so it's always putting the most recent post on top. Now let's go back to, why isn't my video showing? Well, if we notice in the editor, there's two tabs, a visual tab and an HTML tab. This is actually HTML code, so what I want to do is to cut it or copy it. So I'm going to do Control X or Command X on a Mac, come over to my HTML tab and drop it in here. I'm going to update it. And let's wait for this to refresh. Let's refresh again. And we have a video. All right, questions. I hope this turned off the mic or the mic block.
Well, I see it's going to be a lot of practicing to get this thing figured out.
Less than you think. It really. I mean, you'll be doing this. You'll be doing what I just did over and over.
Okay.
And once it's set up, that's what you'll be doing.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah. I mean, really, this is not a to be successful online. It's just mastering repetition. People that do well do one thing. They're consistently creating new and relevant content.
Okay. So when you're entering pictures, you use it on the visual tab, and when you're adding video, you use it on the HTML tab.
Right. And really, just as you'll know that you made a mistake, because you'll see when you make your post, you'll see, you know, if you put this code in the wrong place, it's not going to show the video. You'll just see that, just like I demonstrated. So all you have to do is, oh, I must be in the wrong tab then. What else can I tell you? And again, there's some cool things in here. You know, if I want to make a link, let's say if I want to link this phrase to another page, I can just come in and there's a little link. And all I have to do is, I'm going to link this to my other website. Test link. And let's update that. Come on. All right. Come on. All right. There's my link. Easy, right? What else can I do? You know, if I want a bulleted list. Anyway, just like Microsoft Word. All right, should we move on? All right, here we go. And let's just make sure. Oh, okay. So one of the things that you can do with your posts is create tags. And tags are a useful way to group related posts together and to quickly tell readers what a post is about. Tags also make it easier for people to find your content. In essence, they're basically just keywords. So there's a place to put your tags in over here on the right. So if I were tagging well, this may not. I should probably use a more real estate related example, but the tags for this could be, well, it's just what what is the article about? So it's got my, well, I think maybe let's see. Well, you're basically like if you wrote a post about foreclosures in Scottsdale Ranch, for example, you might keyword it Scottsdale Ranch foreclosures, or foreclosures in Scottsdale Ranch. And those are different keywords. It's not the same keyword because people can search two different ways. But that's in essence, and we actually go more into what these are in part 2 of the class. So let's see. And we went over the WYSIWYG. So this is normally where we do a post, but with online it's a little bit difficult. So I'm going to give you guys passwords how to get into my Apply and Fly site. And all right, so the other thing I wanted to take a look at with you guys are the WordPress menus, because I get a lot of questions about, hey, I want to add a new page for this, or how do I move this around? So let's say we want to add a new page, and we're going to call it WordPress class. So again, I just was up in posts. Now this is going to be a page. Oh, I wanted to add a new page. And we're going to call this just WordPress classes. And I'm not going to put anything in here. Let's just publish this. So this is a page. So this new page, now that I publish it, should show up on the new website. So I'm going to refresh that. I should see my WordPress page show up over here. And voila. Oh, it's not there. All right, so WordPress has a really cool way to play with the menus. In the old days, to do what I just did might take a while because you used to have to hand code everything. Now it's really easy. So I'm going to go over to my Appearance tab. I'm going to go into Menus. And this is how my menu structure is set up. So if we look under Foreclosures Phoenix, for example, we can see it's got that little drop down. Also, like this category Kevin, I don't know why it's doing that. All right, so if I want to add it to the menu, I just check on it, click Add. Now save this. Refresh. Oh, I think I was a little too quick on that. And there it is, WordPress classes, because I added it. Here. Maybe I want to move it. Maybe I want it before the blog. Just drag and drop. There it is. All right, I'm going to unblock everyone. Questions?
Nope, not for me.
Nothing? Okay, so let's go take a look at widgets and plugins. So this is effectively, it's a widget. This is called a widget, or it's an area in WordPress where I can add a tool or add some additional functionality. So I can go into my theme and go to Appearance, Widgets, and I know that my widgets are on my sidebar, the main sidebar, and I can see this is the Go Gadget weather widget, which I never set up. Anyway, but that's the weather widget. I don't necessarily want it there. Let's move it. Again, we just kind of like the menus. Let's put this on the bottom. Let's go to refresh. And oh, I don't know why this is so slow. Oh, there it is on the bottom now. And it moved up the other ones to the top. I talked earlier about plugins. If you notice on my WordPress post, there's a little thing here, like, tweet, and it's got some other, gives me other options for sharing on other social networks also. Some people actually use all these. I use a few, but that's something we can talk about on a later class. Because you want people to be liking and tweeting and sharing your posts. You know, somebody liking, coming by and liking your post, they may be friends with 1,000 people. You know, it's great that the search engines see it, but when someone likes a post on your blog, that's a lot of exposure that you don't have to pay for. So WordPress makes it easy to integrate tools like this with a plugin. And just to give you, let's do a quick look at how you can search for plugins. And I don't recommend just downloading plugins into your website. I always research them. Not all plugin developers are good. They may leave some security issues on your website, so it's a good idea to talk to somebody that might know a little bit more, just even research online. So I can just search. There's just tons of I think there's like 20,000 plugins. So there's plugins that do everything. They can link to your auto response. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Tons. So you can look for different. Maybe you want a contact form. So you can download a plugin, which will save you hours and having to code it or have someone else do it. There's a bunch of different contact forms. So I think that's all I wanted to cover for today. I'm going to open up the floor for questions. And the other thing I wanted to do is give you, if you want to go in and practice on applyandfly.com, you just need to go to applyandfly.com/WP-admin. And the password to get in, let me log out. It's just lowercase gc1, and then the password's gc1. And that's how you can get in and go, do a test post, test page. And I'm going to email out later the video to this. It can take quite a while to crunch all this tape, so it may not go out today. But if you want to just go in and try it out, please do, or go to WordPress.com and set up a free site just to start playing around with it. So I will take off the mute, and I will answer any questions anybody has.
What was the address again for your Apply and Fly?
Yeah, go to applyandfly.com/WP-admin. So let me just put it up on here. And that's how add. Oop, that's how you spell admin. There we go. applyandfly.com/wp-admin. And then the password, the login is GC1. That's the login admin, and then the password is GC1 again.
Thank you.
So it make more sense now?
I think so.
Okay. Jenny, you had a question yesterday about the Tiny MCE plugin.
Yeah, and I just Googled it, and I guess the difference is if you have your WordPress on .com instead of .org, that the plugins on .com is not offered. Well, I had my smart blog creating our WordPress site, and I guess then I'm not able to get the plugin.
They'll have to add it. You just have to tell them, say, hey, can you add Tiny MCE? Because you're on what's called a multi-site installation, and from a maintenance standpoint, it's just easy to maintain sites that way. So, but they can add it. Just
yeah, I emailed the guy, so I will see when he emails me back if he can add.
Okay. Steve, you have any questions? All right. Anyway, I just wanted to say thanks again.
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
Hello. One quick question. I don't know if that was I was interrupted earlier from a phone call. When I put a post on the WordPress site, you know how it asks on the bottom when you put the post in about the tags? Is it a tag? Like the keywords that somebody puts on Google to find that post that we have on our blog, and for some reason, whatever tags I put in there, I never can find it on Google.
The tags?
If I search for it. So what am I doing wrong?
Wait. The tags you're putting in?
Yeah. Like if I post a blog,
yep.
It has these tags, and shouldn't that be the tags what people would put in on Google as a search criteria, like they put in Google looking for whatever, this and this, and then shouldn't there somewhere my blog pop up?
Well, this is where you start getting into search engine optimization. So remember, you're competing with other people's content. You're also competing with websites that, like really old websites, can be very hard to compete with because they have a lot of authority and trust from Google.
Yeah.
So
how am I going to be found then on Google? Because that's what I heard when you do WordPress, with the Google search engine, that's how people can find you. Well, I haven't found a single time yet online on Google with either of those blogs or whatever.
Well, what you want to do...
Maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Well, you may not be doing anything. You may not be doing anything wrong. You still have a fairly new website. It can take a while to gain favor from
I remember when I was in the class from Steven, when he showed the class and all the blogs he had on his site, he just showed us how he went on Google and he put like a search criteria in on Google, why doing this and this, whatever, and boom, his site popped up on one of the search results. And that's what I'm trying to figure out, why ours never showed up.
Well, he's also got hundreds and hundreds of posts. I mean, that guy writes a ton of content. So
that brings you more often than on Google site?
The more content that you have, the more likely you're going to get found. So
okay.
What I would recommend is on my website, I have a link called Training Programs. And there's a class called Content Writing for Realtors, as well as SEO training. Because sometimes answering the question, why am I not getting found, can be a more complex question, which may just need a little bit more distinction behind it. And I think that'll help give you a better idea of what to do in terms of getting ranking.
Okay. All right, we'll do that.
But these are I mean, I kid you. when I first got started, I would have killed to have this kind of content this easily available, because SEO, this type of information is very hard to find because people don't necessarily want to. That's how some people make a living, and they don't want to necessarily give the information out. So I really recommend really reading, not reading, watching the videos. I think that they're about 45 minutes a piece. But that's kind of the keys to the kingdom when it comes to search engine optimization. So, all right. Any other questions? Jenny, did that answer? I know I didn't answer your question because sometimes there's not really an easy answer to especially SEO questions.
Well, yeah, I guess we're just gonna wait, and make sure that we just post a lot, and that maybe it's gonna change at one point. Then once
you get to 50 posts, things start to change. You'll notice, and you really want to also set up a Google Analytics account to see what searches you are getting found for.
Yeah.
That'll actually give you a better idea.
Google Analytics page, is that something I can do, or is that something
my smart blog can help you with that?
Okay.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions, just call me. Again, I invite you to either subscribe through RSS or just through email when I post new content, because I write all kinds of different tutorials about different WordPress things. Oh, so anyway, I just wanted to say thanks, and I'll be doing the advanced one online probably in about a week and a half, and I'll send out a note on that. So anyway, just want to say thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.